Welcome back to the Tydirium Hangar. Happy Friday, everybody. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about Fanstoys. There is sort of a release list chart that's been floating around, and I really don't know where it came from, but we're going to talk about that. So we're going to talk about what is Fanstoys releasing for the rest of the year, each month, and then we're going to pepper in a couple of the other like reissues and those kinds of things. New releases, reissues, and sadly, we're going to talk about what they're not gonna release. I'm sure you're not gonna like that part. But let's get into talking about this. Coming up. So I found this chart. It was actually on my phone. I was searching my phone in line somewhere, and I found it, and I saved the picture. I went back when I was putting my news together. Could not find where it came from, so I didn't put it in my news. But looking at it and looking at TF Source and Show Z and kind of looking at the release dates, this actually looks pretty accurate. So we're going to kind of go through this. But before we go through this, we got to hit the reissues. Starting out in April, we're supposed to get the Acoustic Wave reissue. So this is Robot Paradise. That is Fanstoys. Robot Paradise is Fanstoys. But I got to point out that this was expected back when the KO came out, which technically is not a KO, but all that kind of stuff. But I've been hearing a lot of people ask about it, and it is up here for an April. I don't know, and I'm not making any guarantees, but that's what people are saying. That's the word on the street, so I just figured I'd point that one out to you. Acoustic Wave's older cousin, Thomas. Thomas is due out in May. So that's the expectation, and truthfully with these reissues, I'm shocked it's taking them so long to make reissues because they already have the mold, they've already done it. But I'm actually starting to wonder, are they going to fix any issues, or is it going to be a little bit better? Some of the reissues we got last year, the bugs were redesigned. There were some different parts to them, and I have the first series of bugs, and I got new bugs, the exact same ones, and compared them because of the different chest piece and all that kind of stuff. They were different molded parts for, I think, the shoulder or something along that line. But I wonder, is anything like that going to happen this go around? Okay, so also due out in May is the Fanstoys FD44T JP Thomas. So it makes a lot of sense. Now this is really something that we've seen with X-Transbots and stuff like that, but it makes a lot of sense because they're already going to be producing the reissue of Thomas, make the reissue of Thomas in the recolor. That makes tons of sense to me. So with that, we're getting this recolor. This is more of a toy version. It's the Japanese toy version, and the US one comes later, oddly enough, which is strange, but it's different, and I'm in on one of these. I think it's pretty cool. I liked the recolor, the toy color that they did with the Galvatron. Here we go with the alt modes. So both of them in one picture makes it nice and easy. We already know about this, but the fact that we get to see the colors of them and, you know, where the color is going to be different here and there, that's a whole lot of fun. But let's get into the next one. US version, the FD44T-US. And it does look a little bit different, and it is pretty cool overall. And it's due for a July release, so I'm not really sure why it's going to take longer or be out later. But the thing is, they're not all coming in the same month, theoretically, or according to all this. And of course, some of this stuff is tentative, and I'm sure these dates have changed several times, but it looks good. Here is the alt mode difference there. So instead of being all black on the train, it's more bluish. It's more like the toy. So overall, looking pretty good, looking pretty cool. Now, referring back to this fun little chart, which I don't know who did it, and if you guys know who did it, it would be fun to give them credit or blame them if it's wrong. Anyway, getting in there, we have the Cliff Jumper is the first one on the list, and that one is already out. I have it. I'm going to be doing a review on that one pretty soon, and I'm kind of hoping it's a game changer that maybe we get a Bumblebee down the road. But moving into the next one we see is their blaster. Alright, so we have the Fanstoys FD55 recorder. This is blaster. Now, a couple things have changed on this one since we first saw it, and what has changed most noticeably is the chest. It's no longer gold. It is now yellow. It is more cartoon accurate, and so I'm kind of wondering, is there going to be a larger percentage that wanted it gold or a larger percentage that wanted it this yellow color? I actually think a larger percentage that wants it the yellow color. So here it is. This thing is due out in April, which is kind of not making sense on that chart, but it's okay. It's due out in April, and it's $199.99 depending on where you get it. That is the TF source price. And let's see the Show Z price. That's still unknown, but $30 down, and this sucker's selling out. You know, I gotta say that the one that we got before from Deformation Space was pretty good, but everybody is doubling down, quadrupling down on getting this bad boy, I guess. Here's the alt mode, and I was looking for a picture where he was with a cassette or something like that, and this is something that I did not know. He doesn't come with a cassette. It's just the figure, a weapon, and an interchangeable face. All this time, I just assumed that they'd come with a cassette. You know, it didn't, so it doesn't. So don't expect one. All right, due out in May is the cassette set for $109. So $109. That makes them like 30 something each. So that they are about the same price as the KFC versions that are coming out, but way cheaper per unit than MMC and way smaller. About half the size as MMC. What's going on right there? And so with that, what do we get here? Well, we get, of course, Steel Jaw Ramhorn. And I always get Eject and Rewind. I think that's Eject, Rewind. I get them mixed up, but you get the blue guy. So with that, you get 3 cassettes and their accessories and all that kind of stuff. They are always painted really well. So, I mean, I was really kind of impressed with the first set, but the ones that went with the Acoustic Wave, I mean, I'm really joking, but we saw what Robot Paradise could do. Now let's see what Fanstoys can do. Just kidding there, but there it is with the cassette mode and the alt mode, the bot modes, or the Dino mode and the cat mode. All right, what's next? So now we have the FT54 Warthog. This is their Power Glide. This thing's due out in June, $129, or depending on where you get it, probably shows the 100 even. I don't know. I would like to know the price, but that's one way to keep the price lower is to not post it till it's actually up. They've got the information. So this guy does look pretty good. I think a lot of people are sort of holding tight to their DX9 version, but this one's sold out. So, I mean, things sell out. Now, don't be fooled by sellout, though. Once it comes in stock, they fill the pre-orders, more magically appear, and then after a short period of time, the price magically goes up. And that's just the nature of the game this day and the age, but pretty cool overall. Let's check the alt mode out. There it is, and yeah, you could recolor that to a Rattler. You sure can. You can turn that into a Rattler with a blue. That would be good. I think the alt mode looks great, and I think that everything about it looks pretty good overall. But I hear the arguments that there's certain things about DX9 better. Well, we'll find that out when we get it in hand, won't we? Next up is FT57 Tube, and so it's their pipes, and he looks good. Here's the thing, and this is what really, I would have to say, really does impress me about Fanstoys. And I thought they were going to do some lazy repaints, which we see lazy repaints earlier. That's not what I'm talking about. This is so much different than Huffer. And so with that, I just assumed all these repaints would be lazy repaints, but it's so much different. So kudos, I guess you could say. Kudos to the Fanstoys for going all out of their way and making an actual different mold. And then you get to, this is the magic that they work. And it's almost like they're messing with us in a way. Because the alt modes look almost identical. Like they get them so close. But the bot modes are so different. And all the parts are different. And the transformation sequence is slightly different. Or actually, in some cases, very different. So anyway, kind of cool looking. FT57 Tube. 120 due out in August. FT56 Variator. The Variator is $120 due out in September. Here's the weird thing about this. This dude is not sold out. And that's what's really weird. And I don't know. I haven't really tried to look for the Bad Cube one, but I know a while back I was like, hey, I wonder how many Bad Cube ones there were, because I wanted to have some sort of a discussion in a video, and those were sold out everywhere. I looked a few months ago. Maybe it was back in November or something like that. So this guy here, I'm shocked that this character is a needed character. We needed an upgrade from the Bad Cube, which isn't bad, but this is an upgrade. And it hasn't sold out. Pretty interesting, huh? I'm a little mixed on the alt mode. I don't think it's the greatest alt mode that could exist for this character, but I'm not big on alt modes anyway. And I'm not big on super hyper articulation either. That's just, for me, those two things don't matter. If it hits the minimal articulation and the alt mode looks good enough, I'm fine. But this doesn't really match my headcanon but that doesn't mean that it looks bad. It actually looks pretty cool. All right, next we're getting into FT58 Diverge. Fanstoys Diverge. And this is October of 2023, $120. And so with that, this is definitely different than their gears. And he looks good. This is a character that, now I don't see this one selling out. This one's going to linger because he's, in my opinion, he's a second tier character. And I really don't think that collectors are clamoring for it. But he was made in the original toy line. I believe he's in the show. I really don't know much about the character, and I don't really care that much. But he looks so much different. We're going to look at that here in a minute too. But let's take a look at the alt mode. Again, that magic that they use to make such a different looking bot look almost exactly the same. There's some things are different about this than we saw with the gears, and in some cases this looks more like gears. There's some aspects of this that look more like gears for my headcanon, but I didn't pull stills from the cartoon, so I can't really prove it right now. But my headcanon could possibly be wrong too, but it looks pretty good. FT58 Diverge. Again, I want to show this shot, and I've talked about it before, but look how different they look. And almost identical in the alt mode. I could point out the little differences, but in the bot mode, so much different. Like, completely different characters, completely different. There's very little sharing of engineering from the looks of this. Impressive. So last on this little chart, which actually is matching up to TF Source exactly, and some of the show Z's are really matching this too. So with this FT61, this is going to be their Scourge or their Inquisitor. All right, so Inquisitor is going to be $220 at TF Source, due out in December. Don't have the show Z price on that just yet, so we don't know the lowest price. The lowest price. FT61, he does look good. I have to admit, he does look good. It's a great job that Fanstoys did with this figure, and I love the metallic paint and all that kind of stuff. And technically, if you bought one of each of the versions that KFC put out, and then you put him out, you've got 3 different looking versions of this on your shelf, which I don't know if that's something you want to do. But anyway, looking pretty good. Due out in December. Alright, so here's the alt mode, and this is going to bring up the rear of the year for Fanstoys. This is the last thing they're going to put out. So we can now get into what's not coming this year. Dead End. We're waiting to finish that combiner, and yeah, it's the FT31E Bandit Dead End Sonocon Minosaur, due out in unknown release date. So that's where it's at. And so with that, where is this guy? Are they trying to figure out how to hold up all the weight with a diecast? Nobody knows. Are they trying to figure out if they're going to make a trailer turn into something, or what are they going to do? I mean, nobody knows, because they've already got a trailer that's already built in, so it's just parts to clip together, I guess. Just pull a Zeta. I don't know, and nobody knows. So with that, I'm not going to dwell on that too much, because we got more fun stuff to talk about. I would have thought they would have stepped up their game with this guy because of the Star Toys, but then it's kind of like, well, everyone's going to wait for us anyway, so we'll take our sweet merry time. So that's interesting. We're not getting the FT21 Reserve. Now we're in like 50s, getting into 60s, FT50s and 60s, and FT21's not out. So now I'm not really upset about this either. So here's the thing for me. I joke and I make light of the situation, but there are people literally waiting to fill holes with these figures that they don't have them on the shelf. I've bought other versions because I'm not going to count on Fanstoys coming out anytime soon, but I'm still going to get the Fanstoys when it comes. But with that, a lot of other people are like, I don't want to bother with selling mine and all that kind of stuff. I understand all that, and I try to make light of the situation. But for other people, this is super serious. Like, they've been waiting 7 years for this, or however many years it's been. And no word on the FT30E Jester Slingshot or the FT30D Viper Firefly. We saw some sort of information about it earlier this year that was hinting that it was coming soon, like this year. And now we're starting to see no hint of it showing up this year. So, again, I'm not upset about it. It doesn't bother me. I've got Zetas standing there in combined mode, and I've got 3 of these over here in bot mode, and I'm fine with it. The 3 in the back, I already have them on my shelf in bot mode, and I've got a standing there Superion looking good, so it doesn't bother me. But a lot of people it bothers them, and with it, I would think this would be the earliest one to figure out. Like, this should be easy, and they should have had it figured out. So, I don't know. Did they lose the designer working on this, and then other people can't figure out what's going on? I don't know. So, would love an update. Figure it out. And I'm going to the casino to put all my money on this guy not coming out this year. My bet, he's not coming this year. So with that, looks like that chart was pretty right. And these are the other ones that we're not going to see. And of course, there's other stuff we're probably not going to see. But these are the ones that people are most curious, concerned, worried, upset, disappointed over, that aren't coming out. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think about what is coming? Are you excited about that? Are you disappointed in being replacements? And are you really, really upset about the ones that aren't going to make 2023? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe to Deer Hanger out.